No, 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 no. All right, what's up, y'all? Episode number 6 of the I Hate Tipping podcast. The only podcast with tipping in the name of the show where we never actually talk about tipping. No, I promise that's coming. It's coming sooner than later. I just really want to, that's one of the things that I really want to stick my foot in and grind it around a little bit. Anyway, thanks for joining me again today. I got a pretty healthy amount of topics to talk about today. I'm going to talk about a little of this, a little bit of that, some stuff and some other things. One of these, one of those, and I'm going to tell a couple stories, and I got a song to play, and, well, let's do it. Let me get a sip of my what do they call it? Coffee? What's a nickname for coffee? Joe? Take a sip of my Joe here. No IPAs today. I got to work today. Trust me, I'd rather be drinking the beer. But, you know, coffee. I like coffee, but I'm not sure if I actually like it. I think I'm just addicted. But I do know, I'm picky with it. Like, I know I like one better than another, just like with the beers. It's weird, though, because I noticed that sometimes coffee will give me a spunk, like a little bit of a jitteriness, you know, from the caffeine or whatever. And at other times, coffee will give me the opposite effect and make me feel tired. And I actually heard Joe Rogan talk about that on his show, and he said it's because of mold. If you don't know where the beans came from, they could have been sitting on a dock or on a boat somewhere for years, and you would never know it. And they get mold in them, and your body reacts to the mold, and you get tired. So he like sells his own brand that's guaranteed not to have mold. I'm gonna check it out one day, but for right now, it's Starbucks. Even though I hear that company is basically Satan. Well, who knows? They all are, I guess. So today, how do I want to approach these things here? The first card that I have in my hand is something that I bought. Now, before we get into that, let me remind everybody, the email for the show is ihatetipping.com. No, it's not. It's ihatetipping@aol.com. I'd love to hear from anybody. From everybody. Negative feedback, positive feedback, neutral feedback, questions, comments, suggestions, something you want to hear me talk about, whatever. Comment on something. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, let me know. And like I said, as soon as I get some more free stuff in, some more swag in, I'm going to be picking random listeners who send me emails to get some free shit, like copy of the book, t-shirts. I know that I had ordered ink pens and mouse pads and a bunch of other shit last time, and I will be glad to get some more as soon as I get the cash, and then I'll send them straight to you. Just let me know you're interested. Let me know you're listening and engaged, and I will be happy to send you some shit. All right, so the book. Well, while I'm talking about that, I might as well mention it again. It's called These Ones Are Mine. It's great and fantastic, and it looks swell sitting on an end table. But you might want to keep it out of the hands of children because it's a very graphic, kind of brutally honest nonfiction book full of true stories from my life that range from prostitutes, STDs, to skydiving, cop stories, crooked cop stories, drug busts, just craziness. If you like true stories, you'll love it. It's called These Ones Are Mine. It's on Amazon and Kindle, ebook and paperback. I'm honestly hoping to do an audiobook. I just don't know how to go about it. If you know anything about that, let me know. All right. What else do I need to say? I'm on Facebook and Twitter, Collin Key. And that's enough of that shit. All right, first up, true story. I was at a poker game one time with just like my little brother, and my cousins and my uncles and shit at my cousin's house. It's a cash game, I believe. Nothing major. Well, you know what? I'm gonna take that back. It's major for me. Like there was a couple or a few $100 on the table. My brother and I were both chip leaders. There might have been 8 people at the table or something. The next hand was being dealt, and I believe my cousin, whose house it was, announced, or his girlfriend said that the food was ready because she had been cooking. My brother gets up from the table and goes over and starts fixing himself a plate to eat, and whoever was dealing said, "Are you in or what?" And he said, "Yeah, just put me in." So they put I think he might have been the big blind or something. So they put his blind money in. This is for poker players who know what I'm talking about. They put his chips in. My brother goes over, he's fixing his food, The cards are dealt. I look at my hand. It's looking good. I don't remember the hand exactly. I had a great hand. Put it that way. I think I had like a really high full house. My brother was over at the fucking kitchen counter fixing his plate of food, and whenever the cards were turned, there's a turn in the river. My brother was just like, "Yeah, put me in." They're like, "Are you in?" He said, "Yeah, put me in." He didn't care. He never looked at us. He never saw the cards. He never looked at the cards. Nothing. He just said, "Yep, put me in. Put me in." The final card was turned over, and I went. I was like, "Yeah, I you know what? I'm gonna say I may have had four of a kind because." No. I talked to my brother. I couldn't remember what the hands were. My brother said he never had a straight flush in his life. So the way it had to go was I must have had a full house, and my brother, without even looking at the fucking cards, just kept saying, "Go in, put me in, put me in." So he kept calling my bets is what was happening. Like I was raising, everybody else was out, everybody else folded, and it was just down to me and my brother, and he hadn't even seen his cards. I think I had a really high full house. He said, "Put me in." I fucking went all in, and without even hesitating, he just said, "Yeah, whatever, I'll call." And this was all his money. This was all of my money. And I was just started laughing, like, "Are you serious, you asshole?" And he's like, "Yeah, I don't care, whatever." He was more interested in his plate than the fucking game. And don't you know, this dude, when he came and sat down and turned over his cards, he had four of a kind. Like I said, I'm making up the hand. So this was like the highest hand that I have ever been dealt in poker. Probably. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had four of a kind. So I'm thinking he had four of a kind in this hand. I think I had like a fucking full house. Like a really high, like a maximum high full house, and my brother had four of a kind, and without even fucking looking at his cards, and I lost all my money. And I've never been that fucking angry at a fucking poker table before in my life. I just want to talk about that. I don't know, it popped into my head for anybody who likes playing cards, because I went to the casino recently, probably 2-3 weeks ago, and fucking lost $200 in about 5 minutes. And then I had to sit there, and I could have borrowed more money, but I wasn't going to borrow no more money. So I just sat there and waited patiently for I don't know how fucking long for my brother and my cousins to get, and my brother's girlfriend to get done playing. That is misery right there. If you go to a casino with somebody else and you run out of money quick and you have to sit there and wait for them, because they were my ride. Oh, and I'm sitting there broke. Oh man, is that fucking miserable. But at the same time, you know, if you're gonna play, you go in knowing that these things are possible. You can also have the opposite and come out of there like the last time I played poker with my cousins and them at my uncle's house. Those assholes beat my ass at poker so many times over the years, and I swear I only did good maybe twice over there. The last time I went, not only did I fucking wipe everybody out, I had loaned basically everybody at the table money back to keep playing, and they all were in debt to me at the end. And I just said, I don't give a fuck about that. I just I just said, forget about the debt, but I'm taking all this that I have. I took everybody's money, and I never went back there again. I said, fuck that. Fuck no. Never again. As many times as I went over there and lost my whole paychecks, I finally got one good one in the books for me. Oh, what a feeling. All right. Real quick. I don't have a hygiene tip for today. I just realized I didn't write one down. So what I'm going to do is, I realize hygiene tip is something. I'm not a skin doctor. Okay. I don't know all the answers for hygiene. I just had some shit that pisses me off about people. You want to hear a hygiene tip? Here's a hygiene tip. Brush your fucking teeth. You ever been in somebody's face who has like cheese on their teeth permanently, and like it's there every time you see them? And you can I knew a girl who would smile and she had so much fucking cheesy looking thick plaque or whatever, the fucking tartar's the chisel shit you have to get up, but the other stuff like the oatmeal-y grits that build up on your teeth if you don't brush your teeth for a couple of days. But some people's is there permanently and it's thick. I knew this girl that had that. And if she would drink like anything red, like Kool-Aid or juice, and would smile, you would just see it in all the crevices of the oatmeal texture of her teeth. So her teeth would be like yellow, with then like a light yellow of the plaque, and then red in all the little divots. And it just looks so fucking grody. And some people have breath that is just like life-threatening to people they're talking to. And there's your hygiene tip. Brush your teeth. Don't assume that it's okay. And I don't know, how the fuck do you have a spouse and your teeth are like that? There are married people who have people who they kiss every day whose teeth look like fucking, oh. Hygiene tip for the day: brush your teeth. I'm gonna also throw in a quick life tip for fellas out there who have thick wallets. Don't keep your thick wallet in your back pocket and sit on it. It'll give you hip problems. I'm slowly but surely getting past it now. Somebody else told me years ago I was having trouble. I was starting to develop problems with my hip, and this dude just said, "Oh, it's because you sit on your wallet. When you sit on a thick wallet, it throws your fucking body alignment off bad, even a little bit. Even if you don't think your wallet is thick, just sitting on it and putting your body at that angle like that will give you hip problems in the future." And I think I caught it in time. I'm hoping, because my hip was really bothering me really bad twice in my life, and this last time it was happening again. And I said, "Oh shit, that's right, that guy said about the wallet thing." So I went and started putting my wallet in my front pocket instead, and it's feeling better slowly but surely. It's not 100% yet, but it's only been a couple of weeks. But I believe that that's what it was, especially since I sit down in the truck all night, so it's more aggravated. All right, the next thing I want to talk about, something I bought recently. So I have two here. The first one goes along with the one from episode 5. I talked about my gaming headset and the headset that I'm wearing right now. I bought a stand for that. I actually have two. I got one for Christmas, the gray one, and then I bought the rose gold one whenever I moved into this new place, because the rose gold one is just sexy as fuck. It's a stand to put your gaming headset or any headset. This thing is excellent. It's called the Satechi. I don't know how you pronounce that. Satechi. Satechi headset stand. It's on Amazon for $35. It comes in 4 colors: gold, rose gold, silver, and space gray. I have both the the rose gold and the space gray. They both look dope. They look like artwork to me. I mean, it's metal and shit, but it's futuristic and sexy, and like the finish on it feels excellent. And there's like a blue little LED light on there on the top to let you know that it's on. I really, really love it. I put my headset on there and set it there, and it looks like a decoration. People immediately look at that like, "Oh, what the fuck is that?" Because, well, with the headset that I have, it lights up blue in all different colors, and then it has a light on the thing that matches it, and it just looks pretty excellent. It displays your headset instead of just storing it. The price is good, $35, and it's a solid metal thing. It comes in 2 pieces, and you just snap them together, and then it's there, and it looks machined and polished and just gorgeous. And it feels nice. Like, it has like a grainy texture on most of it, and then like there's like a polished ring around it that feels smooth. And it has also, besides how it looks, it has USB ports to charge your headset. I think it has like 2 or 3 of them, so you could charge like your Xbox or PlayStation controller from there, or your phone, or whatever you want. My one complaint about that thing is that the USB ports are on the front. I would like them to be in the back so you don't see the cords, but it's not a deal breaker for me. Whatever. It's seriously not a big deal. And that's all I have to say about that. The Satechi, Satechi headset stand on Amazon, $35. It's awesome. I highly recommend it. Since that was real quick, I'm going to throw in another thing that I bought recently. So I ride mountain bikes a lot, and then I like to hydrate all the time. I take water with me to work and basically everywhere I go. And I wanted a water bottle, just something that looked better than the ones that I use on my mountain bike. And I looked on Amazon, and I found something called the Embrava, Embrava, Embrava bottle. It's $20 on Amazon. It looks cool. It looks, futuristic and modern and sexy. It feels real nice. It has like a grainy texture to it. I have the 18-ounce version. I also saw like a 32-ounce version, I think, or something. There's a way bigger one. The lid is cool. It like flips down and then locks, and then you can like double. It snaps, and then there's an extra lock just to make sure it's secure, and then it's sealed and it doesn't leak at all. It has a push button. So you push the button and the lid flips open, which I like. Little, mechanism there. It comes in pink and gray and white. I got the gray one. It does look good. It has some little motto on there. It says, "Fortune favors the brave," which, whatever. I mean, I like that motto, but I didn't really need it on my bottle. But it, whatever. $20. It's a good bottle. The one complaint I have about that is that the 18-ounce version is too skinny for your bike. If you're a mountain biker or a road biker, it's not a standard size bike bottle, so it will just fall right out of there. So if you're going to have this, it's going to have to go around your wrist or in a bag or something. It's not good for biking, but it's good for, and it's too nice looking for biking anyway. You'll fuck it up dropping it and stuff, but it's nice. So get yourself one, $20. All right, so last week I talked about a movie that I saw, which was Ghost in the Shell, and I really enjoyed it. Turned out this past weekend I actually ended up watching a bunch of movies. I really liked Ghost in the Shell, and then another one that I really like is Girl on the Train. And I know I'm late to the party with this one. I didn't ever hear any good like reviews about it. I love Emily Blunt, and I figured that it wasn't a piece of shit, but all the reviews were just like, it's okay. I watched it, and I'm going to tell you flat out, I love this movie. I absolutely love this movie. Not only that, but I was a huge fan of Gone Girl, and I kind of put this in that same kind of a thing. This movie is excellent. There's so many layers going on in this movie, and you'll start watching it and you'll be like, what the fuck is going on? And then you'll think you know what's going on. And you'll be like, oh, okay. Oh, well, you never know what's going on in this movie until the end. At the very end, you're like, holy shit. And then there's some reveals in this thing that are deep as fuck. So what the movie is about is obviously Emily Blunt rides a train. You can see this in the trailer. It's not a spoiler. She rides a train every day. Like you don't know anything about anything in this movie. Like it takes its time letting you know what's going on, but you're never bored or anything. But you think you know this. You think you know about Emily Blunt. You don't. You think you know about what the other women in this thing, and you don't. You think you know about the psychologist, and you don't. There's so many, everything is so deep and good. So anyway, Emily Blunt rides a train every day. She looks out the window, stares out, and she sees some shit going on, and she imagines what's going on inside this house with this beautiful woman and a beautiful man, just good looking couple. Then she sees something, and then it turns out something happened, and she ends up involved in the investigation and all this and that. And I really I can't tell you too much about it, but I will say this: it's an excellent movie. I like it better than Gone Girl. I really, really like Gone Girl, but I'm gonna tell you, like, once you know what's happening in Gone Girl, the rewatchability of it, I think I saw it one more time and then I'm done. I don't need to see it anymore. This movie right here, I'm gonna buy it. It's great. There's so much to look at it, and like, oh, and then that was that. Oh, and then that was. It's great. It just kept getting better and better and better, and my jaw literally hung open at the reveal of the one thing about the one woman. Like it's something that I had never even considered happening in life, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, if that happened to you, it's something something bad happens to this woman, and she lives through it, but it fucks her up pretty bad, and you didn't even know that anything can happen to this woman, and she's explaining herself. And she just sounds like any person with whatever problems that normal people have. No, this woman has a big, huge thing weighing on her fucking soul that is affecting her hardcore. And then at the end of the movie, there's a callback to it that makes it all tie. The movie's great. What else I want to say? Just the misdirection is all over the place. You will think you have it, but you don't. Believe me. If you saw this movie and you had it figured out before the end of the movie, please let me know, because I think you're full of shit. This movie is a fucking labyrinth of misdirection. I'm going to read this book now because I can only imagine it being like even better. I think the people who reviewed it didn't really understand it. The ones who gave it like either negative reviews or just so-so reviews. It's not confusing, but there's a lot happening, and you could easily, if you weren't paying attention, you could miss some things that would totally mess up your belief in what's going on in it. And that's it. I'll give it an A. I'll give it a solid fucking A. A plus. Fuck it. I'll give it an A plus. The movie's great. I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna read the book. I'm gonna see if I can find the audiobook tonight and start it while I'm at work. Okay, I also saw Tarzan, the new one with what's his name, Alexander Skarsgård and Margot Robbie's fucking excellence. I rented the Blu-ray from the Redbox. It's not a bad movie. It looks really good. The animals. Everybody knows what Tarzan is or who he is. He's the guy who grew up in the jungle, and there's animals all in this movie, and the CGI is outstanding. The Blu-ray definition is outstanding. It looks amazing. The sun lights up Margot Robbie's face, and you could just pause it and then take a screenshot and put that picture on your wall, like print it up as a poster. That shit looks amazing. But the movie's completely forgettable. I don't give a shit about that movie at all. There's nothing else to say about it. I don't know. It was weird watching that dude pretend to like rub his head on lions' heads and fight with gorillas. For some reason it just doesn't work. And it's nothing against the dude or any of the acting or anybody. It's just, I don't know. I just don't give a shit about Tarzan. I don't know why. If you give a shit about Tarzan, you'll probably love this movie. So, but if you don't, I would say pass on it. All right, another movie that I saw, and then I'm moving on from this. Independence Day Resurgence. Now, I had already heard nothing but bad things about this movie. I was going to hold off from watching it altogether, but I have a problem with that. I'm a movie person, so I had this itch inside of me. I just had to see it because I loved the first one. Everybody loved the first one. I went to see the first one multiple times in the movie theater with friends, and every time everybody was just, it was just a great time. It was something we had never seen before. And you just really hoped that they would do it justice with the second one. They did not do it justice. This movie fails on every level, but mostly because it takes a dookie on the first one. Like, they should have never made it. If they weren't going to improve on the first one, or at least honor the first one, they should have never made it. I don't know who wrote this or whose idea it was. It's trash. It should be pulled from, they shouldn't even be allowed to sell it. It's horrible. I mean, all the way down to that, you can look at it and see that they spent so much fucking money on the CGI on this thing, and it still looks horrible in places. Like, there are places in this movie where it looks like I've seen like student films on YouTube, and that's what it looks like. It looks like they hired like the most expensive CGI place in the world for some parts, and then ran out of money in the cheapest place for other parts. The spaceships looked fake. Every time they showed the people, or the people spaceships, not the alien spaceships. The humans made their own versions of the alien spaceships from the first movie. And every time you see them on the screen, it just looks fake as fuck. Every time you see the pilots of these things in them, they only show the headshots. Like, they never show the inside of the actual. This movie's garbage. What else did I want to say? Because fuck this, I'm moving on. The acting was terrible, and there was a lot of great actors in it. They just murdered the fuck out of Vivica Fox for no reason. She just it just dies. Even what's his face, the dude who plays David, what's his name, who was in Deep Cover, and The Fly, that guy. I can never remember people's names when I'm recording podcasts. I don't remember why, or I don't know why. That guy, I could just he could have just acted this at his house and just mailed it to the studio. I don't know. He couldn't even save it, is what I'm getting at. And he's a good actor. There's a lot of Chinese people in this movie, and like this gorgeous Chinese fighter pilot woman who just looks like a Maxim model. And you just see her and you say, there's no way in fucking hell this woman is a fighter pilot. And she doesn't even pretend to fly anything. Anytime they show these people in these fucking ships, it's just headshots of them talking and looking around and making faces that's supposed to show that they're scared or whatever. There's a lot of Chinese people in this movie because they wanted to sell it in China. They're trying to pump movies in that market because, you know, a lot of people over there who go to the movies. So there's just Chinese shit all over the place. Nothing against China, but whatever. It's just it was so bad it's hilarious. I was sitting there trying to watch it and actually was doing other things and totally not paying attention to it. It might honestly possibly be one of the worst. It is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. And I'm throwing this card in the garbage now because Fuck Independence Day resurgence. Coffee, please. All right, I think this is a good time to talk about a song. Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about a song.
Feeling like a dick, picking it all up again. Feeling so much like a dick, just to pick it up again. Feeling so tired, so tired. Feeling so done. Stopped and screamed it. Thinking this straight down from the house, like in the movies. Say what? All of you watch me in the glass wall, pacing back and forth, exhausting myself for my own gratification. To no one, embarrassing, programming, and there's a family missing the floor. Takes attention of that reorganizing.
All right, that was another song from the artist that I featured a couple episodes ago. Her name's Kilo Quiche. I just wanted to play another one of hers just in case I didn't nail the point home last time, that I think that she's pretty fucking great. I love her voice. She's so original. You're not going to hear anything else like it anywhere. Whatever the stuff that she does, I would say look up. If you still haven't been convinced by these little clips that I played, look up the song "Lock It" on YouTube, or Julianne on YouTube, and just check her out. And like I said, I'm not affiliated with any of these people or anything that I talk about on here. It's just stuff that I truly, honestly dig. That song is called what the hell is that song called? It's not called. Yeah, okay, Frustrations. I think it's called Frustration. Wait, let me see. Yeah, it's called Frustrations by Kilo Quiche. KILOKISH. It's one of my faves. All right, next segment. You're an asshole if you think that that Rocky 1 is the best Rocky. If you think Rocky 1 is the best Rocky, fuck you. Sorry, I take that back. I love you. But you're an asshole. Rocky 1 is not the best Rocky. Rocky 4 is the best Rocky. And I haven't even seen Creed, and I'm not ever going to watch Creed. I've heard nothing but good things about it, but I don't care. I think Stallone should have left that damn franchise alone a long time ago. Rocky 4 is the best Rocky for so many fucking reasons. The training scene when he's running through Russia, all the different quotes. Paulie's quote when he says, "If I could just crawl inside you and zip myself and be somebody else, I'd be you." The quote at the end when he says, "If I could change, you could change. We could all change." The quote when the giant Russian dude says he's not human. He's like a piece of iron. Just the whole damn, a little bit of Schwarzenegger there. Every time that movie is on TV, I watch it every fucking time. As a matter of fact, I think the last 4 times it's been on TV, I recorded it and then watched it again. The music gets me amped up. The story gets me amped up. He has to avenge his friend. It's way better than the first Rocky. You had a steroid giant that Rocky beats, and people say that the one with Mr. T was the best one. Go fuck yourself. No, it's not. Rocky 4 is the best one. Moving on. And if you haven't, you know what? Here, I'll say this. Watch them all again. Whatever one you think is the best one. If you think 1 or 2 is the best one, watch it and then watch 4 right after, and tell me that 4 isn't better on every fucking level. When Adrian says, "You can't win," but then she shows up anyway, and it gets all emotional. When when the black dude, whatever his name is, the training dude with his bald head, when Paulie was rubbing on his bald head, but it was all sweaty because he was so excited. There's so many just individual moments in that movie that just make it great. I should have put that on my perfect movies list. You know what? It is officially on my perfect movies list. Rocky IV is a perfect movie. I wouldn't change anything about it. It was great. It is great. So yeah, if you think otherwise, you're an asshole. And that's that segment for the day. I'm going to throw in a new segment today, which is just a random topic. I haven't made a sound drop for it yet, but it's coming. Yeah, I'm making new sound drops constantly. I forgot to put in some already today, but we try to improve every episode. And also, it's kind of hard to know how loud my voice is going to be. Like, I'm looking at the levels, and I can see, and I know when it goes into red that it's too loud and it pops and echoes and shit. But just as far as the volume, one of the issues that I'm having is when I play this back on my computer, it sounds loud as hell, no matter how far away I am from the microphone. But whenever I play it, I download the file on my phone and listen to it. I have to turn the volume all the way up. So, and then it's comfortable. It's just right. But like if I was in a loud environment, it probably wouldn't be loud enough to listen to like that. So send me a message and let me know how the volume level sounds to you. Somebody commented that they said my voice sounded nice. Thank you for that. But just tell me about the audio quality itself. Like, are you hearing too much of this shit with the index cards? Are you hearing too much echo from the room? I need to make some changes on the acoustics out of the room, or if the volume's too low, or are you tired of me going? Just give me comments, and I will try to improve. I promise. All right, so today's random topic is, and this one is you're not going to know where I'm going with this. So, by the way, while I was writing down my notes for this shit, earlier today, I was sitting in a Lowe's parking lot, Lowe's Home Improvement, and it's windy as fuck outside. And I was kind of watching people kind of blow around and, as they're walking. And I got out for a minute and almost tried to rip my truck door off. It's pretty windy. I was writing some shit down, and at one point I happened to look up, and there was a Mercedes across the parking lot from me, like 2 or 3 aisles or lanes or whatever across the parking lot from me. And then I looked to my right, and I saw a fucking shopping cart flying down the fucking lane, and bam, right into the fucking side, the car door of that fucking Mercedes. And I was like, oh shit. And so I actually went inside the store and I asked her, and it was because the car was parked in a remote location. So I figured it was somebody who worked there or somebody who I do that too. I park away from all the other cars because people will hit your shit and then leave, and you'll never even know until later on. You'll just have a dent on your shit. That's happened to me twice, at least. I think 3 times actually. But anyway, I went in the store and asked if anybody knew who owned the Mercedes. They said no. Then when I came back out, the Mercedes was gone. And then when I was picking up my mom from there, and then we drove away and went down to the stop sign, and what do you know, I was at the stop sign right next to the Mercedes, a little Chinese dude in there, and I waved at him to roll his window down. I said, hey, were you just parked over there? And he said, yeah. And I said, you need to look at your car, dude, because there's got to be a big ass dent. And he's like, what? And I said, I just saw a shopping cart hit your car. And he was like, oh, okay. And just drove away. And I don't know if he's just rich and doesn't give a fuck, or if he didn't really understand English, maybe. But it was just weird. Like, I would have jumped out immediately. Nah, you know what? I would have known, because whenever I get things and shit on my vehicles, it's like I have radar. Like, I just zoom right in on that shit. But he didn't seem to give a fuck, so I'm guessing he just had money. Whatever. So I was writing, I think I was writing this index card, this topic card, when that happened. That's what made me remember that. So watch for shopping carts loose in the parking lots when you park, people, unless you just don't give a fuck about your paint job. So there's something called a negative ion generator. And if you don't know what that is, it's something that you can buy on Amazon or in Lowe's Home Improvement or wherever. And what it does is it freshens the air in your in your home. And it goes further than that. Like, this is a piece of equipment. It's not like a fucking fan or something. This is a thing that doesn't even, like, I don't think it has any moving parts. It just sits there, and you would look at that like, what the fuck is that? But it's the thing. They're kind of expensive too. You put this thing down and you plug it in, and what it does is it draws in all the particles in the air in the room, and all the particles that are floating around you have a positive charge. Okay, so anything that you smell or anything that's in the air has a positive charge. This thing creates the negative charge. It draws in all the particles in the air, attaches a negative charge to that particle, which cancels out whatever, and then those particles fall to the ground. So your room is left with no smells in it. So it's just, it gets rid of allergies. Like if you're really allergic to shit, and you can put this in your house and you won't, like, your allergies won't affect you, because all the particles in the air, they just go away. They get canceled out and they fall down. Okay. I found out about this thing back in the day when I used to try to grow weed. My boss, when I worked for a plastering company, said, "No, you need to get the negative ionizer." He was like Iranian or something. And I was like, "What the fuck's that?" And he told me, he said, "Yes, and this, when you grow the weed, it will." Now I'm going Russian with it. It will, comrade. It is for making no additional smells to the sinus cavities. The authorities will not be knowing you're growing weed in your domicile, comrade. He was telling me that if I grow weed, that you need to have some of these things because it'll kill the smell. I don't know if you know anything about weed, and this was years ago, so I don't do that anymore, but if you grow weed has a really, 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 really strong smell that just fucking permeates through walls and clothing and everything. It's hard to get that smell down. But a negative ionizer does it 100% because it just kills all smells. So this thing is actually a pretty awesome thing to have. Like I said, they're kind of expensive. If I ever get money, my house will definitely have one, like, in every room probably. Or like, I don't know how they work. Get like a massive one, attach it to the furnace or something. Anyway, I bring this up because whenever you smell something, like your food, for example, say you sit down to have a nice steak dinner with steak, a bacon wrapped steak with mashed potatoes and fucking gravy and whatever you like, mac and cheese. When you sit down and you start eating that, the majority of the flavor that you're enjoying in your brain is from smell. Smell and taste work in unison together. If you ever do this, blow all the air out of your fucking lungs, pinch your nose, and then pop an M&M into your mouth and just chew on it. But don't suck in any air. Just chew on it and you'll see how the flavor is muted. Like, you can barely taste it. It's because you need to be taking in air at the same time to smell. Smell and taste are like basically the same thing as what I'm getting at. So I bet you're still not following me with this. Go back to this negative ionizer. A negative ionizer kills all smells because the smells that are in the air are actually physical particles of whatever you're smelling, and it attaches. They're floating because they're positively charged. This thing attaches a negative charge, and then it basically eliminates these particles. They just fall down. Whenever you smell something, there are tiny pieces, little particles of whatever you're smelling in your nose and in your mouth, because, like I said, your smell and your taste work together. So if you smell somebody else's dookie in the public restroom, you actually have some of their dookie physically, literally in your mouth and in your nose. The lesson with that is you should probably keep all of your conversations. Just don't talk when you're in the bathroom. I mean, hey, maybe you don't mind having your own shit particles in your mouth, but I'm sure you don't want everybody else's. I don't. When people fart around me, I move away, and I sure as fuck ain't talking. I'm not. You get what I'm saying? Whenever you smell something, you're smelling it because it is in you. Like there are pieces of. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. What made me think of that today? I don't remember. That's enough of that. All right, fix it now.
Fix it now!
Please fix that shit now, please.
Just fix that shit. Fix that shit.
Have you ever been in a group text conversation? Like, has somebody else put you in a group text conversation that you had no idea was coming? Like, have you ever opened up, heard a ding on your phone and opened it up and seen 28 different phone numbers that you're like, who the fuck is this? And then somebody puts a picture of a whatever, I don't know, a baby with a clown outfit on and LOL, and all these comments start coming. Anyway, group, and then you delete the message, but you still keep getting replies to that message for the rest of the fucking day, and then the next day and the next day from numbers that you have no idea who they're from. Group text conversations blow. Okay. I remember I was at work and my boss, what happened? I had asked one of my coworkers to send me something. He sent it somehow. I don't even remember how this shit happened. I don't remember. Somehow I got wrapped into this damn group text conversation, and so did my aunt. Like I had sent a message to my aunt. My aunt has nothing to do with the people at my job. Somehow, some message that I had sent to her got attached to, like, maybe she sent me a link to something, and then I forwarded it to the guy at work, and then he forwarded it to everybody at work or something. And then all of a sudden there was this group conversation, and my aunt was involved in it too. And she was like, the whole, like, when this shit started and people are like, fuck that shit. Look at you, eat a dick. And my aunt is texting, and I didn't even know it was her because it's just phone numbers. It doesn't have like contact names. And she's like, how am I in this? She's old. She's like, what? Who are you? Please stop texting me. And my boss, he didn't know who she was. And he's just like, oh, fuck you. And she's like, what? Don't talk to me that way. What's wrong with you people? And he's like, what's wrong with you, bitch? Fuck. And it just got bad. And it lasted for like 2 days until I figured out what was going on. And I looked up the number. I said, oh my goodness, that's my aunt. And I asked him finally, hey, please, dude, that's my aunt. I don't know. He's like, what? How's your aunt? Group text conversations are a nightmare. There needs to be a way to either reject them outright, like whenever you see a group conversation coming in, or just have your phones maybe send a message back to the people who are trying to send you a group text. Like, no, I don't accept group text, because like I said, somebody can put you in one, which happened to me yesterday, which made me think about this, or the day before yesterday one. And then you delete the message totally, and then you still end up getting people will reply to it, and you'll get random messages from random people for days, and you'll be like, I don't even know what the fuck this is about. Like, they'll just put LOL, and you'll be like, LOL what? And you didn't even know that you were in a conversation with them because you don't know their contact. They're somebody else's contact. So anyway, they need to fix that shit now. You need to be able to reject group conversations from your phone if you want to, or if you're involved in one, you need to be able to end it, like say your response and then end it and then be out. Oh my goodness. Fuck group text conversations. If you've been in them, you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to say anything else about that. But yeah, Samsung. Oh, I can't wait for that S8. I was just talking to people on Facebook about it. Everybody's getting them. I can't get mine yet because, I'm gonna have to call the AT&T store and see what kind of what they're willing to work with me. I might have to put down like a couple $100 or something to get the new one as soon as it comes out, because my contract isn't up yet, and they'll probably make me turn in this old one, which I kind of don't want to do. I like to keep my old devices for like US for the storage. Just keep all my shit on there, but I don't know, that damn thing, that new one, it looks good. Coffee. All right, before I get into today's big topic, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about this woman here. I think to myself that doing a Champion Beauty segment in the show is kind of cheesy or something. But whatever, it's my show. If you don't like it, skip it. It's not like I'm being perverted or anything. I just, I appreciate beautiful, whether it's in nature or if it's, women, or I can even appreciate a beautiful man. And I'm not gay. I'm just saying, like, I can look at Brad Pitt and say, yeah, I could see the attraction. So, it's a part of us. As much as we'd like to think that we're above it, beauty, for whatever reason, it gets us. So anyway, today's Champion Beauty is a woman who just has like one of the best skin tones that I've ever seen. And some of the prettiest eyes, like exotic looking eyes that you wouldn't expect with a woman with that skin tone to have. She's just an exotic looking woman. She's obviously mixed race, which are always just the prettiest people, in my opinion. You can have like a really, really good looking redhead woman, or a really, really good looking black woman, or a really, really good looking Latin woman. But the mixed race ones, like the Alicia Keyses, that's where I don't know why it just always, not always, sometimes it goes tragically to the left. There's some half breeds out there that really hit the wall when they fucking popped out of their mama. But I tend to think that mixed race people are usually prettier, and I think most people would agree. Because you get the best of everything. You get like the best features, or sometimes you get all the worst ones lumped together in one, old whatever. I'm not gonna be mean today. Anyway, so this woman is, I don't know her ethnicity shit, but she's obviously mixed because she has like just gorgeous fucking light skin and like, I don't even know what color, bluish eyes, and she's petite, but like just a little tiny little thing, but just poking out in all the right places. Fucking like she's got a rack and a booty. I'll put it like that. She looks good. And naked, you see this woman naked, she looks like fuck yes. Okay. Just like Salma Hayek, this woman is also 50 now. And also, if I ever met her, I would like to take her somewhere for a nice succulent Chinese meal and talk about some of her politics and things, because she has actually been kind of scrutinized for some controversial things that she said on TV recently, or maybe not that recently, maybe like late last year or something. But I'll tell you what, the things that I heard that she said, I agree with her 100%. And people were really attacking her, but those people are stupid, because what she was saying makes perfect sense, at least to me. And yeah, I'd like to sit down for a nice gyro, maybe some crab legs. I don't eat crab legs. Buffalo chicken dip and some and some Sunny D, and just pick her brain, because I think she's pretty fucking smart, and I think people aren't giving her credit for it. But fuck that. This is about how good looking she is. I first saw her in the movie way back in, I think, the fucking late 80s, early 90s, called Moving, with Richard Pryor. And it was obvious to me back then, that first thing that I seen her in, that she was automatically among the finest women in the world. I'm talking about Stacy Dash. If you don't know who Stacy Dash is, she's a Fox News correspondent. Early she was, but she's obviously a model and actress and all that. I didn't even know she was a Fox News woman, because I don't watch the news very often. I just know she's fine as hell, and yeah, I really love to fucking run into her and just end up dating her. Even now at 50, that woman is bonkers. She's just bananas. Whatever. She also has one of the biggest, prettiest, most beautifulest fucking smiles I've ever seen. And I didn't notice that until yesterday when I looked up a picture just to for research for the show. And what a smile. Like, just a fucking perfect, big old, gorgeous smile. And if you look up interviews of her, if you listen to anything that she's done where you can hear her speak, she has just this sweet little petite, like almost just a wisp of a like, even, but it's at the same, her voice is like also like kind of smoky, like a bedroom, just excellent. But there is also a double-edged knife blade coming with that sweetness of that voice. Stacy Dash is not a joke. She's a cool, calm, collected, sweet little beautiful sweetheart of a woman who is, I believe, fiercely intelligent, even though people I don't think realize that, and also can be fucking vicious. Like, I heard her say on some fucking interview something like, I will cut a nigga, or I don't know, something like that. Like, she has a seriousness to her, and it's attractive to me. I want to date Stacy Dash. Just take her out and buy her some socks or something, and I don't know, we can have hot fudge sundaes and do that thing where you both dip your spoon into your ice cream and then you wrap your arm around each other, hook your arms together, and then eat your, like, all romantic or feed each other ice. I want to feed her. I want her to feed me ice cream down near the beach. I don't know. Anyway, so what else do I want to say about her? She's such a champion of beautiful women. Like, just automatically, you look at her like, oh yeah, automatically one of the finest women ever. And I'm saying there needs to be like a hall of fame for beautiful women, and they need to have a bust made of her. If there doesn't already exist a statue of Stacy Dash, there needs to be one. Yeah, and I just wrote on here that, by the way, I don't disagree with her politics. The ones, I haven't heard all of them, but the ones that I heard, I was like, well, yeah, what's wrong with what she's saying? No, I absolutely agree with that. And yeah, I guess a lot of people were kind of trying to make fun of her or something. I don't know. She seems smart to me. All right, so the final topic for today is going to be motorcycles, something near and dear to my heart. Sorry about that. Oh, stretch. I sit down too long. I drive a truck all night, so I'm sitting down, and then I sit here, and I'm sitting down to record, and then I sit here to edit, and then I sit to write, and then I sit to eat, and I'm just sitting too much. I'm not getting enough exercise, and my body's telling me that, so I need to work on that. How about you? How old are you? How's your body feel? That's going to be one of the topics coming up soon is aging and all the things that I'm going through. Not going through, but sensing the changes that I'm feeling in my body and my mind as I'm in my 40s now, which is crazy to me because my brother is almost 40, my younger brother. Just saying that is such a strange thing. My little brother is almost 40. Time just flies. All right, so motorcycle. I have a whole bunch to say about motorcycles. The first thing that I want to say, the important thing about motorcycles is that I think that we need to have, more motorcycles in this country, like a lot more, like way, way, way more motorcycles for a lot of different reasons. Just a couple of the reasons off the top of my head are, number one, the more motorcycles we have on the road, the more aware of them that people driving cars and other things will be, because when you run into a motorcycle on the road, if you're driving a car, how often do you see motorcycles? You might see a couple or a few a day. In the summer, you might see a lot, but in other countries, I mean, the streets are flooded with motorcycles, and the cars are, and I just want it to be a more significant part of the traffic because a lot of people just don't give a shit about bikes. And I've actually heard, I walked into a room one time and heard a dude saying to another dude that he can't stand fucking motorcycles because fuck that, riding past me all fast and shit. Like, that was his argument, like, fucking riding all fast. And I didn't say anything. I was just listening. And he's just like, yeah, I want to run him off the fucking road and shit. Fuck that. And I'm like, wow, that is actually a thing. There are people out there And a dude who I work with said something like that, and he actually used to ride motorcycles, and he said, "Yeah, fucking go flying past me, I'll fucking run a motherfucker off the road." I'm like, dude, how can you think that? How can you, if you ride, how can you even have that thought in your head? So I think that having more and more and more and more people ride, we need to have a way bigger of a culture of that in America, and people will get used to it. People driving other vehicles will, they'll be automatically looking for bikes instead of just it's a surprise to them all of a sudden. And number one, the fucking main thing that I would say to people like those assholes I was just talking about who get pissed off when bikes go flying past them and shit, just drive your vehicle. What do you think, they're going to crash into you or something? If you just do what you're doing and don't worry about what the person on the motorcycle is doing. Don't worry about how fast they're going or if they're whatever they're doing. It's not, why are you taking it personal? How is it affecting you? You're just looking over and say, "Oh, fuck him for being able to park in that small space, or for being able to hurry and go fast and pull into whatever." Whatever your beef is, whatever these people's beefs are, is what I'm getting at, will go away if there are more and more bikes on the road. And then there's other stuff like motorcycles are better on fuel, so they burn less gas because the engines are smaller, and it's better for the environment and shit, whatever. It's easier on the roads. But the main reasons that I would say for people who were considering bikes, or that they should consider motorcycles, is because of the feeling that you get when you're riding. There are very few things besides motorcycles that can give you that kind of a feeling of freedom in your life every day. You can get on your bike every single day if the weather is decent, or if it's not. Some people ride in all weather, but you go out there and you get on your bike, and then it's just you and all that space, that air all around you. It's freeing. It's therapeutic. It's something that you don't know. If you don't know about it, you need to learn about it and fall in love with it and join us, because I've been a biker for many years, and I'm gonna tell you, I feel like this. I feel like anybody who rides is my brother or my sister. If you're an asshole when you're on a bike, you're still my brother or my sister. It's a community that I love, and 99% of the people who I've met through riding bikes have been awesome. But like I said, even if you're an asshole, when you're on that bike, I don't care. I love you. You get off the bike, then, fuck yourself. But when you're riding, I want to see you safe. I want to see a smile on your face. I want to know, I want you to know that I'm with you out here, and that I love it just as much as you do. Was there anything? Yeah, and bikes are. It'll if the more motorcycles are on the road, the better the traffic flow will be, because you can get, every car takes up this much space, every bike takes up this much space. You can get legally, at least in Pennsylvania where I live, 3 bikes in a lane next to each other. So it's better for traffic. It's better for the roads. It's better for the environment. It's better for your spirit and your soul. It's better for motorcycle car relations, for everybody to just start riding. Before I get into some of the things I want to talk about, I wanted to tell one quick thing, just one comment about helmets. Okay. It's not, they don't have a helmet law in my state. And that changed. I was riding when that changed. So you don't have to wear a helmet. I was speaking to a guy, and this is one guy of a bunch of people who I've met over my years who have said the same thing. These are people they don't ride helmets, or excuse me, they don't wear helmets when they ride. And their argument for it is that if they crash, they don't want to live through it. They want to, because they ride hard and fast. They say, if I go down, I'm getting fucked up, and I don't want to be fucked up for the rest of my life. I'd rather just die Okay, whatever about that. But what I'm going to say is my buddy crashed into a telephone pole on his crotch rocket. And whenever he hit it, he flew sideways, or like his body. So his hip or his groin smashed into his gas tank. And by the way, this crash was totally his fault. So I'm not trying to scare anybody who's a potential ride. He was racing, doing some stupid shit, and crashed into a telephone pole. But the point is, when he hit that pole, the bike accordioned. It fucking just smashed into a third of the length that it was. His groin hit the gas tank, and he shot to the left. So he didn't physically hit the telephone pole, like his body didn't. But his groin area got all fucked up from smashing into the gas tank. And he was unconscious, and he flew to the left. And when he landed, when his body smacked down on the pavement, or it didn't even, I don't think it smacked, he just slid. He just landed on the pavement and slid. And he said he was unconscious from the hit. And then he came to, and whenever he was awake, whenever he came to, he was looking at the pavement, going across his face shield, and then he passed out again. So in other words, he was sliding on face down on the ground, and the clear shield on his helmet was scraping on the ground, and then he passed out again. Then he woke up, went to the hospital and all that, and he has that helmet still, and he showed it to me, and there's no damage to the helmet. Like, so he didn't hit his head, but the face shield is all scraped the fuck up. The point that I'm making is that, and no matter what, helmet or not, he wasn't gonna die in that crash. But if he wasn't wearing the helmet, his face would have been road rash right up the middle of his fucking face, because his face would have been scraping along the pavement instead of the shield of the helmet. I hope that I'm getting my point here. So if these guys who are saying weren't wearing their helmets, their plan would have failed anyway. They wouldn't have just fucking died. They would have just had a fucking scraped up face. So wear a helmet is what I'm saying. Trust me, there's times when I don't want to wear it. Man, if you're sitting in fucking 100-degree weather and traffic, yeah, I take that damn thing off, because you just can't. Like, you'll pass out from the heat. But anytime I'm on the highway, I'm wearing it. I wear it for the most part. Unless I'm just, and they say the fucking time when I crashed my crotch rocket, I was like 3 blocks away from my house. So, and I wasn't wearing a helmet, but it wasn't that major of a crash. But the point is, I was about to say that I usually don't wear a helmet whenever I'm close to my house, just like going right down the street or something, but you need to wear it then too. So for new people who are considering riding, wear a helmet always. Take the safety classes. In Pennsylvania, they have the safety class. There's 2 levels. You can either go through the advanced class or the beginner class. The beginner class, they provide a motorcycle for you. The whole thing is free. It costs you nothing. But the beginner class lasts like a week or something. Like, you have to come back multiple times, because they take you from the beginning all the way up to getting your license. I think it might even be 2 weeks of like a few hours a day. You can schedule it out however you want. You can say I'm available on Fridays and Saturdays, and go for a few Fridays and Saturdays, or whatever. I don't know. The advanced class, you have to have your own bike. You go, it's 1 8-hour day. They teach you all kind of shit. At the end of it, you get your fucking license. Both of these classes are awesome. Like I said, it's free, and you get your license at the end of it, and they provide a motorcycle. There's no reason to not do it. But I think that's enough of that stuff that I wanted to say. Was there anything about that? Oh, here's the thing. Years ago when I was going to school, I was going to school to be a machinist, and there was this guy, this older white dude with glasses. He was tall, and he walked with a limp, and for some reason I just like zoomed in on his limp. And we didn't know each other, but then one day we got to talking, and I just said, I got to ask you a question. He said, yeah. And I said, what's up with your leg? And he said, oh, and he lifted his pant leg up, and he had an artificial leg. And I was like, oh, shit. And I think it just went to the knee or something. And I said, can I ask what happened? He said, yeah, I was in a motorcycle crash. And I said, oh, damn, for real? And he said, yeah. And then he told me about it. It wasn't his fault. It was a person in a car. It was his prom night. and him and his buddy, I believe, were both on motorcycles, leaving the prom with their dates, riding up the street, and I think a drunk driver in a car swerved and ran them off the road. And he said that he hit something and that he flew through the air. He said that his body flew through the air, the height in the air at the top of a telephone pole. This is his story. He described it to me. I was like, holy shit. Anyway, he ended up losing the lower part of his leg. His bike was totaled. Prom was fucked up, whatever. And I was like, holy shit. And he was like, yeah, it sucks. And then at the end of the conversation, I said, so let me ask you this. He said, yeah. And I was like, so would you ride again? He's like, what? Yeah, of course. He said, I'm about to get a bike with hand controls now because he said he can't shift with his left foot or his right, whatever foot. Damn, I need to get on the bike. I don't remember which side the shift was on. The right foot. He said, I don't have my right foot, so I can't shift. He said, but they have bikes now with hand shifters and shit where you can do that. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, yeah, I'm getting one. Point of that story is, if you ride, you love it. He loved it, and he was in a crash that cost him his leg, and he still wants to ride. That should tell you something. Motorcycle riding is awesome. I didn't tell that story to scare you. I told it to inspire you because it's that awesome. It's a freedom you won't find anywhere else unless you're like a fucking, I don't know, a fighter pilot or something. There's few things in life that really match up to just being out there on a bike. Just even if just by yourself, just go on a long road or a long ride, go find some nice twisties to hit, and just the satisfaction. And you come back, just sit down, have a beer, and. All right, so there was a few things. We're really on time here. An hour and 5 minutes. Good. I got plenty of time because this is the last topic. Just some of my memories about motorcycles. My first one that I ever had was I think it was a 1973 or 1975 Honda CB350. It was in perfect condition. I got it at a police impound auction. I just happened to go. I just went to an impound auction with my buddy, and I was like, holy shit, look at that old bike sitting there. And I bid like $75 on it, and another guy bid 100, and then I bid 125, and he bid 150, and then I bid 175, and he's just and he left, and I got it. And lucky me, that bike had the last registration from it was from I think 1974, like the year after it was bought, or maybe 2 years, or after it was built. Somebody had bought it, rode it for like a year or two or whatever, and then it just sat parked for fucking 30 years. Obviously it needed, the carburetors needed cleaned and some hoses and shit needed replaced and all that, but it was in perfect condition. The tires were even still good. And I bought that thing, and I rode the shit out. I had dirt bikes and shit before that, but that was my first street bike. It would do 99 miles an hour. And I would be out there, and I bought this. I don't even remember where I think I got this old helmet from my dad. He rides motorcycles too, or somebody. And it was like a Nazi helmet, open faced, that you saw like in that Indiana Jones movie where they were fighting the Nazis. It looked like a straight up Nazi helmet, and people used to fucking make fun of me. I did not give a flying fuck. I was out there, and I was happy as hell. And I talk about this in my book. There was a story where I got pulled over by the cops, and you should buy the book and check it out. It's a good story. That's a good story. It was just about getting pulled over by the cops, and something happened that I was about to get I didn't get a speeding ticket, and something happened that made the whole thing take a turn in my favor. That was kind of it was kind of embarrassing for the cop, and I don't know, whatever. But buy the book, people. It's called These Ones Are Mine. You will like it. If you like this podcast, you'll like it. If you like the stories that I tell, I'm telling you, these ain't the good stories. The good stories are in the book. There's crazy shit. Anyway, that bike, I rode the fuck out of it. My car, I ended up not having a car at the same time that I had that bike. And so I had ended up having to ride that bike to work every day. I'm talking about through the snow, through the hard winter, the ice, all that shit. I rode that motorcycle every day in all weather, rain, whatever. And I loved it. I lost, and I used to wheelie that thing. It was only a 350, and I used to wheelie it. I remember I was wheeling down my street, and my brother said, "You're gonna get fucking killed. You better stop that shit." Who wheelies that kind of a bike? Look it up. A Honda CB350, 1970. I don't know, 5, something like that. But I ended up losing that bike because I went on a road trip. I rented a Mustang, and I parked that bike in a parking lot next to the rental place for the Mustang, the car rental place. And I parked it right in front of a big ass sign that says, "If you park here, your shit will be towed." And I didn't even see that sign until I came back from my trip. And I was like, where the fuck's my bike? Oh, and I saw the sign like, fuck. And it said, if you lost your shit, call this number. I called the number, and the guy said, yeah. He's like, you want this thing? I said, yeah, man, that's my bike. And he said, well, I mean, it's been here for a week or whatever. He said the storage is $100 a day. He's like, I mean, this bike ain't even worth that though, dude. He's like, he's like, you give me 300 to 350 or something, and you can come get it. And I was like, let me think about it. I ended up not going to get it because I didn't have them. I had the money, but I had planned on putting that money on a car that I was about to buy. Like I had already agreed to buy this car, and I needed that money for the car. And it was like either get my bike back and just not get the car, or get the car and lose the bike. And I lost the bike, and I was very sad about that. That was my first bike. The bike that I'm riding now is a 08 Gixxer 750, Suzuki GSXR 750. It's a crotch rocket. I'll try to be brief with this. I told the story about my credit and how it was horrible and how I fixed it and all that, and then I went and bought my my first brand new car, which was that F-150. Well, shortly after that, after I bought that F-150, I switched jobs, was making a little bit more money. I take that back. No, I did not. I almost fucked the story up. Okay, so I bought that F-150 brand new, my first brand new vehicle. Time went on, maybe, I don't know, 6 months or something. And then I was driving truck back then too for a lumber company, and I happened to be driving past a bike dealership, and I had time to spare before my next stop. So I stopped and went in and was just looking around. I had always liked the way that Yamaha R1s looked and R6s. And I went in and looked at them. And then while I was in there, I was standing next to them. I didn't like them anymore. And I still don't to this day. I don't know. I'm not a Yamaha fan, but whatever, to each his own. But I was just like, and I was disappointed. And then I looked over and I saw a Gixxer 1000 sitting there, and I was like, fuck, now that is me. Went over and was staring at it, and the sales lady was standing behind me. I don't know for how long, but I turned around and she was standing there with her arms crossed. She said, "You like that, huh?" I said, "Oh, I didn't see you there." I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, you want it?" And I was like, "I wouldn't be able to get approved for it." She said, "You don't know that. Let's try." And I said, "Well, even if I did get approved, would it, like, credit wise? I probably can't afford it. I don't make money." She said, "You don't know that. Let's try." And I said, "Okay." We went and we sat down. She immediately got me approved for it. The payment was fine. It wasn't much at all. And she wanted, I don't remember what, she wanted like a percentage of the money down. It was like, the bike was like 14 or 15,000, and she wanted like 3,000 down or something. And I was like, I don't have any money down. She said, "Well, how long will it take you to get it?" I had just started a second job at working on the dock at another warehouse place, loading trucks. And I was like, well, I can get as many hours as I want there. And I was making a nice buck at that place. I said, well, if I work all night there and then work my other job full time, I can come up with the money in 2 weeks. She said, or no, I said 4 weeks, a month. And she said, well, all right, come back in 4 weeks. And I said, are you going to have it? She said, yeah, I'll be here. A month went by. Next thing you know, I had the money. And I'm talking, I worked for a month of 8-hour days at the 8 to 10 hour days at my normal job. And then, so I worked there from like 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon or 3 in the afternoon, sometimes to 5 in the evening. Then I would go straight to my other job, sleep on the floor in the lunchroom there for between a half an hour and an hour if I could, and then I would work there all night, and then go home and get like a couple hours of sleep and do it all over again. I did that for a month, but I made the money. And then I remember I called her back and she said, "Oh, you got the money?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "All right, well, come get your bike." I was so fucking excited, but it took a turn, and here's what happened. I remember I walked around with that fucking wad of money in my pocket, just bulging out all day long. And I was just nervous that I was going to lose it or so. I've never felt a knot in my stomach like that, except for that first story that I told on episode 1 about that identity theft shit. That put a bigger knot in my stomach. But I was just nervous about buying this bike. I didn't end up buying that bike because I was at work that morning and I called her, just the woman at the dealership, just to confirm everything. And she says, "Okay, yeah. Did you get she said the bike's ready. Come down. I got all the paperwork for you." She said, "Did you get insurance?" And I said, "Oh, no, I'll just add it on to my truck insurance under the policy." She said, "Okay." I called my truck insurance place and they said, "Oh, we don't do bikes." And I said, "Oh." And they said, "Well, we this company who we're affiliated with, they do." I called them. They wanted like $250 a month for the insurance. And I was like, "What?" And they said, "Yeah, the Gixxer 1000 is the number one insurance claim motorcycle on earth. Like, people buy the Gixxer 1000 and crash them the fuck up. Basically, what they were saying is all the assholes who like to just do crazy stunts and go fucking crash all over the place, they all buy Gixxer 1000s, and so they have too many claims on them all the time, and so that it's just going to be expensive for that. Doesn't matter how much experience you have or whatever, that they're charging money for that." I called a few different places. I didn't get better answers. And then I said I was like, "Fuck, I can't get this because I can't afford a brand new truck payment, a brand new bike payment, and full coverage insurance for both, and the fucking $240 a month. There's no way." The last insurance place that I called, I said, "Well, what about a 750?" And they typed it up. They said, "Oh yeah," and the insurance was like half price. I said, "Oh, all right, fine. I'll do that." So I called the lady back at the dealership. I said, "I can't do the 1000. Do you have a 750? She said, "Yeah." "What color do you want?" And I said, "I don't know. Just pick one." She said, "How about blue?" And I said, "Yeah, blue." Long story short, I ended up going in, picking up. It was right there. Beautiful. I think I put a picture on my Facebook page if you want to see it. It's old now. It's '08, but still looks good. I walked in there and I swear I felt like a celebrity because everybody in the fucking dealership liked that bike, and they had literally just put it together like that day or the day before, and everybody was like, "Oh wow, I love that." It was like the best looking bike in the place. And like, so many people came up to me like, "Man, did you buy that blue one?" I said, "Yeah." "Oh man, fucking nice bike." And I left that place feeling so good with my new bike. And I was so nervous, I almost crashed it. And then on my way home, like several times, just not like crashing, just like almost dropping it at stoplights and shit. I was just shaking, nervous. And I remember being so nervous that I left my truck at the dealership and rode the bike to work. And my plan was to to go home and have my little brother drive me back to get my truck later on. While I was on my way to work, I stopped in the McDonald's, and I was standing there with my helmet, and I was waiting for my food, and I had my drink, and the lady behind the counter said, "Excuse me." And I said, "Yeah." She said, "You're pouring your orange high C into your helmet." And I was like, "What?" I looked down, and I was so nervous I didn't even realize that I was just standing there pouring my drink into my helmet like a fucking, I don't know. I was nervous, which is normal because my buddy just like last week, he's the dude who crashed his fucking Gixxer into that telephone pole. He just bought a cruiser, and he said, "Man, I'm so nervous. He bought a new cruiser, and when you get a new bike, you're just nervous. I don't know. We were anyway. So anyway, that's enough of that. But it was the best feeling in the world to me to buy that bike, and I've had so much experiences with it. Some of the ones worth talking about. I remember me and that same dude I was just talking about, where we went to a bar, and when we left the bar, Fog had rolled in, and we were riding through fog that was so thick that we couldn't see each other next to each other. We were going down like fucking highways and shit. Could not see him next. I could hear him. Couldn't see him next to me. Couldn't see what the fuck was in front of me. Couldn't see the cars in front or behind us. And the fog was so thick that when we had to pull off the side of the road at one point, just soaking wet as if we were just in a fucking thunderstorm. So much fog. That was crazy as hell. I remember I was at I was going to community college, and I had went there early to do some work and I was in the lunchroom. I had ridden my bike, and then one of my friends came in and he said, "Hey man, fuck, did you see that shit?" And I said, "What?" And he pointed to the television in the lunchroom, and I looked up, and the news was on, and there was this giant, huge, massive, crazy fucking storm on the weather coming, and the blip on the map where I was right outside that thing, and I was looking at it like, fuck, and they were saying, yeah, by this time it's going to be hitting us, and I was like, shit, I had an hour before class. I figured it would take me a half an hour to get home, to ride the bike home and go get my truck. And I jumped up and I ran and jumped on the bike and I took off. Like I said, the plan was ride the bike home, put it away, grab it, because I knew the storm was going to last all night. As soon as I left the school, I got around the corner and a gust, like a fucking hurricane hit, and it was blowing me so hard from the side that it almost dumped me over, and I immediately pulled over to the side of the road. And then not only that, the wind continued to push me so hard that I almost couldn't hold, like just at a standstill, I almost couldn't hold the fucking bike up. The wind was insane, and I I didn't know what to do, because I couldn't park it in a way right there where it wouldn't fall over. So I just fucking basically walked it down the street and got it in a parking garage. And the wind was whipping through that parking garage so hard that I still thought it was going to fucking slam my bike up against the wall in there. That was insane. Like, so sometimes I have been caught in fucking weather. I have been in some horrible weather on a motorcycle. I told one of those stories in the book. I remember doing a burnout at a couple places ago that I lived in an apartment complex in the projects. Actually, I was in the parking lot and a bunch of kids came up to me. I was getting on my bike. They were like, "Hey, do a wheelie or something, do something." So I did a burnout for them, not realizing that it was brand new paved. They had just repaved the lot. Like it didn't even think about it. And my tires smoked right through the fresh pavement. Just the pavement, just dug a hole, burned a hole straight down through it, and sprayed fucking liquid hot tar all up underneath the back of the bike and all over everything. I'm just glad nobody ever fucking came asking me to pay for that shit. I just took off. When I realized what I was doing, I took off. I remember me and that same buddy I was talking about were coming up the steep hill going to a bar, and we were like racing up this hill. Just and when we came up to the hill, like as the hill crested, you could see the top of the bar, and then it got, higher, and we both came full speed right up to the front door of the bar, which sits like on the corner, and the two hot ass young bartender female chick ladies female bartenders were both sitting on the stoop right outside the front door, and we came up to them so fast and both basically fucking skidded and then endoed to a stop an inch from both of these chicks. It scared the fucking titty milk out of them women. I'm sorry. It scared the fuck out of them, and they screamed. And me and him were cracking up so hard. I will never forget that. That was so funny. A couple more things. What else? And then when I was taking my safety class, I took the advanced class, and I actually ran into the guy who bought that Gixxer 1000 that I was going to buy at the dealership. I thought that was pretty cool. Which it was also a really good looking bike. Like I said, that was the one that I had picked originally, but that was just because I wanted a 1000. I'm glad that I ended up with the blue one. The 1000 was a black and gold one. It was unique. Like I have never seen another one like his. I've seen a lot like mine, But I'm still I think mine looks better than that one. What else did I want to say? Oh, two more quick ones. Me and that same dude again. Last reference to him. Excuse me. He came to get me one day for a ride. I was like, whatever. We took off from my mother's house, and immediately my fuel light came on. And I said, I need to stop and get fuel. And he said, fuck that. You can get fuel up at the damn place up at the, it's just right up the road. And I was like, all right, fine. Rode from my mother's house. We ended up riding a little bit further, but then we did go get off at Parkway exit and go to a gas station. Pulled in a gas station. Just as I was pulling into the gas station, the bike shuts down. No big deal. I'm at the gas station. I pull in. I fill it up. I fire it up. The engine is doing weird shit. The gist of this story is don't ever run out of gas on a fuel injected motorcycle. I had run all the way out of gas, and I don't know if you know this, but even good gas has dirt and rust and all kind of fucking shit in it. And all that impure. There's less of it when you buy good gas, which is what I have to put in a motorcycle, but. And the bad and like regular, holy shit, there's like, you might as well have like potting soil in there. There's so much garbage in that shit. But even in the good stuff, all the particulates that's in the fucking fuel settle at the bottom of the gas tank. Whenever you run out of gas, you're sucking up all that shit into your fuel injectors. I ended up having to tear my fucking engine apart. I had to take out my fucking fuel injectors, all of my fuel injectors. Reverse flushed them. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I was watching YouTube videos and downloading fucking manuals and doing all this shit. It took me so long to finally fix that shit. Oh my goodness. What a pain in the fucking ass that was. Don't run out of gas. Because right then at that gas station, I fired it back up. It started, but it didn't run. I couldn't get any speed. Just it ruined that ride for that day. I took it home, and I tried. I didn't know what was going on, and it just got worse and worse and worse to the point where it wouldn't run. And I actually have a video on my phone of when I finally got everything flushed and fixed and cleaned out and everything. I had to take the tank. I had to take the tank off and clean all the fucking bullshit out of it. What a fucking pain in the fucking ass that was to fix that. Don't run out of gas in your motorcycle if it's fuel injected. It doesn't really matter if it's carbureted. But do they make carburetors still? I don't know. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was, when you have a crotch rocket, sometimes you get people in cars and shit that want to challenge you. And I don't get into that anymore. But there was a time when I would take on a challenger on a bike or a fucking car or whatever, a truck. I remember a dude in a big fucking hiked up, lift kitted fucking diesel Dodge Ram, like heavy duty. He had a pretty fast truck with a big turbo. I could hear the turbo. He lost that race, but whatever. Not too many cars are going to be able to beat a motorcycle. But what I wanted to talk about was I was in a tunnel one time, and me and my buddy like to go slow at the beginning of the tunnel and let the cars ahead of us get away so that we can crack on the throttle and hear the exhaust. It gets so loud. What? And it just sounds fucking awesome. And so I did that this day. I waited for the cars ahead of me to go a good amount. And then I just hit it a little bit. Just second gear. Just third gear. And then I let off it. And as I let off it, I heard behind me, and I was like, oh shit, somebody's behind me, and a big fucking, I could hear it was a serious exhaust on something behind me. But I didn't turn around. I just kept going until I got out of the tunnel. When I got out of the tunnel, I looked behind me, and there was a purple fucking, what is it, a Challenger, Dodge Challenger, like not the Charger, the Challenger. That had this motherfucker was souped up. Somebody put a lot of money into it. It had like rims and fucking decals on it. I'd never seen a paint. It was like a custom paint job, I believe, too. And it had like the dude's fucking car club and all that shit. And I moved over and let him pull up in front of me, and then I got behind him, and I said to myself, all right, that looks like a very, very fast car, especially in a straight line. It didn't look like you could do any cornering in that car, but it looked like in a straight line, it might be able to do something. I said, but I'm confident that I would win in a race. I was like, I'm not going to race him, but I could tell by the way he was on his exhaust that he was basically challenging me. I got behind him, or on his throttle, I'm sorry. I got behind him, looked up at his car, and he punched it. Blah! Took off, and all I didn't even change gears. I think I was in third gear, and I just stayed on his fucking ass. Basically, he hit it. He floored his fucking car with his fucking Hemi or whatever the hell was in that to take off away from me. And I just stayed in one gear and just hit the throttle gently and just stayed with him just to show him, no, you ain't getting away from me at all. I could have downshifted and fucking blew. Like when he hit it, I didn't know what to expect. I figured the car would be fast, and it was moderately fast, but I had no problem just staying right with him right there in third gear or whatever gear I was in. And I could have downshifted and fucking burned that dude. When it didn't work, I didn't fucking back an inch off of his shit. He let off and just slowed down. And then I got next to him. I looked at him. He rolled down his window, and I just gave him a thumbs up and fucking just took off. That felt good. Like I said, I don't do too much of that shit. I don't recommend it to people. If you want to go fast like that and do shit, go do it where it's safe. Do it on a track. I'm mainly saying this because I'm older. I'm glad that I lived, there's been many times when I could have got really, really, really fucked up from dumb shit that I did. I'm glad I made it through, and that's why I'm putting the advice out there. But I do encourage everybody to get into motorcycles in your life. And with that, I'm going to end this episode. Thanks as always for joining me. I love doing this, and I'm going to continue doing it for a long time in the future. My goal is just to talk about interesting things that are interesting to me, and my hope is that like-minded people, find me and let's have some conversation. I hope I'm semi-entertaining to you. Hit me up and let me know. Email, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. I hate tipping at AOL.com. These ones are mine on Amazon and Kindle. Collin Key on Facebook and Twitter. Subscribe. Give me a 5-star rating on iTunes, please. I mean, even if you don't think it's a 5-star show, I don't think it's a 5-star show, but the 5-star is what gets you your rank up so people can discover, so you can grow. And the more I grow, the better the show's going to get. Who knows? I might have guests one day. I'm definitely going to get into some better sound effects. These ones are the free ones. I'm just putting them together on my own. And but I'm trying to get better every time, like I said. Next episode, I was going to talk about some things, but it doesn't matter. Come back and join me for the next episode. I know I said this is going to be twice weekly, but I'm feeling good this week. I'm going to probably put out 2 more this week. So look for those. Tell your friends on social media. Share the link to the page. Be good. Always help other people and take care of yourself. Till next time, I'm Collin Key. Peace.